Today we'll be taking a look at the Adventurer 5M Pro 3D printer from FLASHFORGE. It's a fully enclosed Core XY machine with high printing speeds and awesome features such as the quick swap nozzle system, built-in camera for time-lapse and remote monitoring, full auto bed leveling and vibration calibration, and it now also works with the newly updated Orca FLASHFORGE slicer. Taking a look around the printer, the Adventurer 5M Pro is well built with a solid internal metal structure, and it's enclosed with plastic side panels, plastic top lid, and a plastic front door, all combined giving it a clean and minimalist look. The top lid is on a hinge, and this allows it to be easily opened, giving access to the internals. And with it connected, there's no need to worry about finding a place to put it. The front door gives access to the build plate and internals, and this is held closed with magnets. The handles on the lid and on the front door are nicely designed with an integrated cutout that makes for a neat hidden handle. Speaking of handles, there's also two handle cutouts found on either side, making it easy to pick up and move the printer. To help keep a maintained and controlled internal temperature, the enclosure has a foam seal around the edges of the front door and the top lid, which is perfect for printing demanding materials like ASA, ABS or nylon. Although one thing I didn't see was a chamber temperature readout displayed on the screen, which would have been nice to have. At the front we have a USB port for plugging in a USB stick with prepared slice files, or files can be loaded directly to the machine over Wi-Fi or the rear Ethernet port. And it's good to see there's also a LAN-only mode for offline printing. Along with the main rear power switch, this printer also has a front switch to turn it on or off, although the power supply still needs to be shut down by the rear main switch to completely turn it off. On the machine, the files are accessed via the 4.3-inch colour touchscreen or controlled through the software on a PC. The user interface is easy to navigate on the touchscreen, and we can control the printer, start prints, adjust settings and view the print progress. When using the touchscreen to start a print, it's good to see there's a 3D model of the object displayed on the screen, which makes it easy to select the correct file for printing. It can also be used to play back time-lapse footage, and to export and transfer the footage to a PC, we need to use a USB stick. At the back of the printer, there's a removable spool holder, the power connection socket, the power switch and Ethernet port. There's also access points for the belt tensioning. Removing the back metal cover reveals all the electronics and power supply are all neatly contained. Taking a look inside the Adventurer 5M Pro, we have a build volume of 220mm cubed, suitable for small to medium sized models, but it may be on the smaller side for some users looking to print larger models. The print bed platform moves along the Z-axis with 3 lead screws, and along with the front rods, there's also extra support with dual rods at the back, resulting in accurate layers when printing. On the bed we find a magnetic flexible dual-sided build plate with a textured PEI surface and a built-in plastic handle, which makes handling the build plate easy. The flexible plate makes it easy to remove 3D printed models once they cool, simply by flexing it and removing the printed part. Reinstalling the plate is easy as it has 2 handy alignment tabs at the back to ensure it's always put back into the correct position. It's a good plate that works well, and FLASHFORGE does recommend applying the included liquid glue as an interface between the model and the surface before starting to print. The bed reaches a maximum temperature of 110 degrees, and warming up the bed from 20 degrees to 60 degrees takes about 2 minutes. This print bed has full automatic leveling, unlike older printers where you need to make adjustments for the Z offset or adjust bed levels manually, so there's nothing to touch, ensuring perfect first layers. Filament is loaded onto the rear spool holder, and then the filament is fed through the Teflon tube, which goes through the filament runout sensor on the inside and through the Teflon tube into the extruder. Filament feeds into the compact direct drive extruder, and it's melted by the hot end, which is equipped with a 0.4mm steel nozzle. It reaches a maximum temperature of 280 degrees, which is suitable for most common filaments like PLA, TPU, PETG or ASA. The cover on the tool head is held in place with locating pins and magnets, which makes it easy to remove for maintenance. The print head uses a quick swap nozzle system, which allows us to remove and install different size nozzles in seconds. The printer comes installed with a 0.4mm nozzle, and it also includes a 0.6mm nozzle kit. There's also optional 0.25 and 0.8mm nozzles available. While not the most affordable, they're extremely convenient to use, and it's a true quick swap nozzle system, no separate wires or screws to remove, and it's as simple as you can get. the 3D printer combines a nimble core XY motion, and this allows it to achieve fast printing speeds of up to 600mm per second, with typical printing speeds of 300. For the cooling, a large fan on the print head with air ducts cools down the freshly printed layers. Plus there's an additional internal auxiliary side fan, which adds to the cooling. Although the additional part cooling fan and exhaust fan are a bit loud when on full speed, especially when the front door or top is open. There's a small camera located on the inside of the top corner, and this camera is used to capture time-lapse footage or to monitor prints, which can be viewed in the software or remotely. Inside there's also a LED light bar, and this is great for lighting up the internals, allowing us to see what's been printed. The lights can be turned on or off whenever needed, either from the touchscreen or remotely in the software. Additionally, the printer has a HEPA and active carbon filtration system to minimise exposure to smells and ultrafine particles. There's 2 modes for the filtration system. Inner circulation, improving the chamber's air, making it suitable for ABS or similar materials, or external filtration, where the air is drawn in from the outside, filtered and circulated out, which is great for PLA or PETG. And finally, underneath the printer, we have an open bottom with a Z-axis motor, belts to synchronise the 3 lead screws, and the belt tensioning point. Taking a look at the unboxing, the printer comes pre-assembled and is almost ready to go. Opening the box, we find a quick start guide with steps on the unboxing and getting the first print started. There's also a 16GB USB drive that contains the software, test files and user manual. There's a bit of unpacking to do with removing the foam packaging and removing the protective film around the printer. Opening the top lid, we find the power cable, an accessory box, a 250g spool of cool looking burnt titanium PLA. The accessory box has a pair of cutters, a screwdriver, a set of Allen keys and an unclogging tool. There's the metal spool holder and the 2 bolts to attach the spool holder, a small packet of grease, a complete 0.6 quick swap nozzle kit, and some liquid adhesive for the print bed. To get started with the setup, the included spool holder is attached to the back of the printer with the bolts. Now we can move on to removing the transport screws from the bed platform, and these are clearly marked with yellow arrows. And finally, the power cable is plugged in and the printer is turned on. With the back switch turned on, we also need to press the front button to start up the machine. On the initial startup, it will prompt to select the language, then to confirm all the packaging material and transport bolts are removed, before starting the calibration tests. It will then next carry out the auto bed level and the vibration compensation tests. With the setup and tests complete, it will prompt to load filament. The included filament spool is loaded onto the spool holder at the back, and the filament is passed through the Teflon tube. The end of the filament is placed into the extruder, and then load is pressed on the touch screen, and it will heat up the hot end and extrude the filament. Now FLASHFORGE recommends using the included adhesive, so we'll put a thin layer onto the bed before starting the print. The first print is a quick small test cube. It takes around 6 minutes to print. It's really good that it guides you through all the steps to the first print, which is especially helpful for beginners. For the next print, we'll start it directly from the touch screen. Just below the home icon is a print icon where we can find a few preloaded models. For this print, we'll select the high-speed benchy boat, and we're using the same filament, so we click on the green print icon. Even after using other high-speed printers, it's always impressive to see how fast these printers are when printing. The boat test print completed in 14 minutes and turned out well for a quick print. Now, if you want to change the filament, there's a filament spool icon on the left side of the screen, and in the menu, the second icon of a filament swap is selected. It shows all the instructions on how to change the filament, and if we're changing to a different filament type, we can select other material types or input different temperatures. So to change the filament, we need to pull up on the Teflon tube, which exposes the currently loaded filament. Then with cutters, cut it off as close as possible. The cut filament is then pulled out and rewound onto the spool. Now the next colour or type of material is loaded, and push through the tube all the way to the end. We can press on start and it will heat up the hot end and start purging out the filament. In this time, the new filament is placed into the extruder and then the Teflon tube is connected. While changing filament is a manual process, it's a similar process found on high-end printers with an automated cutting and retraction system. I find it's a good way to clear out the extruder and hot end in one direction rather than manually pulling out filament with the possibility of leaving small particles behind in the gears. The next print is another preloaded file of a set of gears. These are printed with orange PLA, and it turned out to be a nice print with all the gears moving freely. For the software, the Adventurer 5M Pro comes with FlashPrint 5 and Orca Slicer on the USB drive. FlashPrint 5 is easy to use for beginners, and it makes slicing and sending files over Wi-Fi easy. There's advanced or basic slicer setting layouts, and with the files sliced, it can be saved as a G-code or sent over Wi-Fi to the printer. With the file sent to the printer, we can monitor the prints within the software. For more advanced users looking for a more powerful slicing solution, I'd recommend using the latest dedicated Orca FlashForge slicer. It has printer profiles already set up and the Wi-Fi integration configured. Just make sure to update to the printer's latest firmware before use. While it's a more powerful slicer that allows us to prepare, send files over Wi-Fi, and monitor, it's still missing a few features like system presets for different layer heights, the viewing of files stored on the printer, or accessing and downloading time-lapse footage, so it could be a bit more polished. The next print is a two-part rocket and smoke cloud, and these files are sliced and sent from the Orca FlashForge slicer and sent over Wi-Fi. Both of these parts are printed with a 0.4mm nozzle at a 0.2mm layer height using PLA filament and the default settings. So the printer comes with a 0.4mm stainless steel nozzle installed, and this is a good size for all-purpose general printing. Also included in the accessory kit is a 0.6mm hardened steel nozzle kit, which is good for faster prints where you don't need fine detail, quick prototypes, or printing with materials with reinforced fibres. Swapping out the nozzles is a super easy and quick process. With the machine turned off and the nozzle cooled, we start by cutting off the currently loaded filament. Then press and hold the two red tabs and pull down on the nozzle. To install another nozzle, we just align it and then push it in until it clicks in place. It's as simple as that, and then it's ready to go. Now for the nozzle that's been removed, there'll still be a little bit of filament attached on the end, and this is cut off with the cutters to prepare it for its next use. Replacements of these all-in-one nozzles are on the pricey side, but it's a really good system, a true quick swap, without having to mess about with wires or unscrew anything. For the next print, we're using the 0.6mm nozzle to print this interesting bowl design. In the software, the nozzle setting is changed from 0.4mm to 0.6, and it's sliced with a 0.3mm layer height without any infill or top layers. This will use the thickness of the nozzle to create a single wall around the edges with a neat looking weave mesh finish. The finished print turned out great, and it was an interesting print with a really nice, interesting finish. The next print is an octopus with print-in-place movable tentacles. The model is enlarged to 150% in the slicer, and printed with a 0.6mm nozzle. The total print time for this model was 1 hour and 38 minutes, and on the finished print we do see some layer lines as it's printed with a 0.3mm layer height, but it's a good looking fast print. Now we're going to switch out the PLA for PETG and print a wall hook with the 0.6mm nozzle. The print took 1 hour and 37 minutes to complete, and it's a functional item that turned out well with a good surface finish. And for this last print, we're using white TPU to print a flexible cable tie. All the prints turned out well with both of the supplied nozzles, and the machine had no problem printing different types of materials using the default slicer settings. The FlashPrint 5 software that comes with the printer is decent, but I'd recommend updating the printer's firmware and using the more powerful Orca FlashForge slicer for a better experience. Some users might also find the 220mm cubed print volume to be on the smaller side, so it's something to consider. I enjoyed using the quick swap nozzles, and apart from the replacements being on the pricier side, they worked really well, allowing them to be swapped out in seconds. FlashForge has made a well-built 3D printer delivering excellent performance that's quick and easy to set up and works well with the latest Orca FlashForge slicer.